Hello knife people. Today I received this little guy in the mail, the TwoSun TS247. It is made of M390 steel. I don't have another knife in this steel. I've been wanting it actually for a while, and this is pretty much the cheapest knife that you can get in this steel. Let me say it right out in the beginning. This is a beautiful, very well and precisely machined and executed knife. It actually amazed me, the level of not only the detail that they've put into this tiny blade, but the geometry, the ergonomics, and the level of tolerance, the tolerances in the factory of TwoSun. I cannot find a flaw. All of my knives that are $300-$500 knives, they have some inconsistencies from one side to the other, including this big guy that's about $400 to $500 now. So I haven't done any testing other than this is very sharp. I've tested that, and I'll demonstrate here. Very sharp. All of my TwoSun knives came very sharp. This is not my first one, probably my fifth TwoSun over the years. I do like the brand very much. They have a variety of blade steels on offer. They offer very high quality. About 8 or 10 years ago, I purchased this TwoSun, which is a folding knife, and I'm not big into folding knives, but it's a titanium handle, and it turned out to be only D2 steel. When I say only, I actually have a lot of respect for D2, and it's not necessary to go with any super steel in this particular use case. Anyway, this is another TwoSun knife, 3D, very good machining again, and this was done 8 or 10 years ago. They still sell these models, I believe. And I kept on to it because it's one of my favorite folders. Not used, as I don't use folders much, but as far as folders go, this was under $100. It is on ball bearings, very smooth action, beautiful ergonomics. I believe it is mimicking another knife, just like all of the other knives mimic other knives. And if we compare it even to this lion steel, which is more than twice the price of the TwoSun, I couldn't really say that this is done better than the TwoSun. The TwoSun, if anything, is actually done better than this. It has a titanium handle instead of aluminum. The clip is milled clip instead of this pressed one. It just is lacking this system, which is patented by Lion Steel. But all in all, this is a better knife, and both are D2 steels, by the way. So if this was made by Lion Steel, it would cost more than the folder I'm holding here. I don't remember it is SR2A. SR. They make this in 2 sizes. This is the small one. I made a mistake. I should have gotten the larger one. Even though this sits well in my hand, I think I would have liked the larger one better. TwoSun, as I'm trying to explain here, many of you probably know that brand, already trusted, because they've been on the market for a very long time now. Well, when I say very long time, I've known about them for about 10 years. And another actually relevant to this knife, this is also a TwoSun. And so I've been wanting a knife that would satisfy my urge that this guy disappointed. I've had this for 10 years. I already had this for 10 years. And I never really carried it much because I don't like it. It's very soft steel and the ergos are just not in my alley. Anyway, so I wanted a small, chubby, but also still slicey knife. And I got this TwoSun, which was bare steel. It came with this sheath, and then I wrapped it in paracord, as you can see, TwoSun. But this is like an X, like a splitting X. It is so thick. If you can see, this does not show it because it has chamfered edges. So a very chubby, let me actually take a measurement. 5 millimeters, over 5 millimeters for this tiny knife. I put a choil in it. I lengthened the handle by just grinding out this. It was about coming to here, and so I increased the handle, etc., everything, but still this didn't satisfy the urge. So luckily I have the Enzo necker now that I'm wet molding the sheath, so I can show you. But this little guy is very effective. So you get it in these 3 fingers. So I have a large size hands. 3-finger grip is very comfortable. You have flat areas. You have the palm swell, the Coke bottle shape that is very highly regarded. Overall, as I said, I'm very picky and I cannot find a flaw in the knife in terms of how it is machined, like the crisp lines that surpass and punch way above its price range. I purchased this on eBay, bidding on it for about $35 US. It retails on Amazon for around $50 without the sales, but you can usually get it. And the TwoSun has an eBay store. I'll try to link it in the description. And so they do sell it in auctions. So sometimes you can get, I believe that a folder TwoSun that I showed you, I bought that for like $70, when in retail it costs more. Anyway, TwoSun is an amazing company where they're pumping out very high quality, top-notch knives for very competitive and affordable prices. This guy came with this taco sheath, which I have absolutely no objections to. A very simple design. The only thing is that the clip is pretty much useless. They should have probably gone with an Alti-clip or something. I will probably be remolding this sheath, but I may use the same material or I may go with a carbon fiber texture, I don't know. But you will be here to see it, because when I like a product and decide to use it on a daily basis, it is very extremely rare that I don't modify it in any way. I'm glad to say that this knife requires very slightest of modifications, but I will still be doing those and taking you along the trip. So I do want to use this as my main EDC fixed blade. Do not confuse this knife for a toothpick. It's not. It is a very useful tool actually. So let me quickly show you, if you were to use a knife and carry this as an EDC. Let's make quick size comparisons. You can see that volume wise this is like twice as large as this, but in terms of length and width not so much, but in totality this is much larger than this knife. But the actual tool, the working edge, is the same, as you can see. So I mean, yeah, of course this is a small, comparatively small, but this would be like an average folder size, or maybe on a smaller side, but still, I mean, very usable size of a blade. And let's get exact here. So from edge to edge we have, I mean, for the cutting edge we have 63.5 millimeters from the one corner to the other of the cutting edge. The tip is extremely, it's like a scalpel, very slicey, very sharp, and it is M390. As I've said, I've been using TwoSun knives for a while now, and so I can rely on their heat treatment. I know that they know how to do their steels. So let's come now to what are the immediate modifications that I will be doing with the knife to make sure that it's you know, the fidget toy slash actual useful, really cool little tool that I'll be carrying probably on my belt and probably scout carrying like so, but we'll see. I may actually do two options of carry and you know, have both options available. Okay, so modifications. I do not like sharp edges on any of my tools that I grip. So even though I praised and I still am in the position that this is a beautifully done knife, but again, this is very affordable, made very affordable. So they're not making crazy finishing works. So long story short, very flat on both top and bottom of the handle. Now this is actually very good because it allows you for a better grip and control, but it's a bit painful. So I want to send those off, but when I send it off and round this off, by no means do I want to thin the handle. I just want to round slightly so that I kind of knock off this sharp edge, because I do want these flat areas both on top and bottom. As I said, this increases grip, but it should be made comfortable. So on the contrary, rather than thinning, I do want to widen this handle, not much, slightly, and I do want to maintain those screws. I will now show you that this comes apart very easily, but I don't have mosaic pins that will go in there, plus screws are obviously better for gluing down your scales, and I do want to glue these down, but I'll be using these screws to hold the scales and press them together. Okay, now we take the top side off and we see that it is not a hollowed handle, which is fine and good. It would have been maybe too fragile if this was hollowed out, because it is a tiny blade. To show you the screws, trying to there we go. So these guys screw in. Now what I want to do is add these yellow liners. This is paper micarta, and I want to add these on both sides because I know that this brown burlap micarta looks beautiful with yellow liners, as you can see here, and you'll see in the final product. So this is paper micarta. It will be so it should be 1 millimeter, not even. So let's call this a 1 millimeter. And so we will be thickening the handle by only 2 millimeters. So I've already measured out this. I know that I can fit both of these scales on here, as you can see. So I will glue this on and put the video on time lapse so that you don't have to watch through the entire length. So anyway, this will be glued on. I'm always, until I run out, and I'll probably then be repurchasing this. I love this 3M Scotch Weld 420. I use this to put my scales put the scales on my knives. I do make my own scales as well. I use two-part transparent epoxy for that. But to glue the scales to the actual knife, I use a different epoxy, which is even stronger in terms of glue strength. At this stage, I have glued the liner and contoured the handle. Now, I do want to glue the handle on permanently. It will just increase the strength of the knife overall and the handle, obviously. And there's no purpose in me taking the scales off at any point later on, I mean. So I do need to take this off to glue. Also, I want to drill holes on both sides and then put in some luminescent powder mixed with epoxy in here. So as you've seen, I've glued the 1mm paper G10 or paper liners. They're not G10, they're not micarta. I don't know what they are exactly, but they're paper material glued and pressed together. I believe it contrasts quite well with the brown, and it has added 2mm thickness to the knife, which was the intended purpose initially, besides the added visual, which I think is quite good. Then also drilled and added luminescent powder with glue to both this, and also because I glued the handle on and I will not be taking it off, I don't need the screws anymore, so I filled the holes on the screws, Torx screws, with the same glue and luminescent powder. Here's the result. So now it illuminates. As I've already mentioned, I'm very impressed with the build quality. One thing that I did miss to notice on the initial unboxing and use was the jimping here was sharp. So to be exact, the way they've cut it, it was just not rounded off, I guess. It was an easy fix. I just ran very fine sandpaper through these grooves a few times back and forth, and now it is not sharp. That's the only thing that I did to the blade itself. Other than that, it's pure perfection, as I said. Very impressive machining and build quality overall for the price. I do want to make this my daily driver as EDC fixed blade, so changed the, I mean, nothing wrong with the original sheath, this is it, but I thought that the carbon fiber look would have a better visual, and this also clicks stronger into the blade. So the way I've built it is I left more material towards the handle so that the Kydex has a better grip, and it does have a very sturdy grip, better than the original. I have not drilled holes in here yet because I've ordered some Alti clips as well as the soft belt loops. IWB, I think, makes those loops. So once I get them, I'll be able to make exact measurements, and this will be the final look. Obviously, I will grind away some of the excess material after drilling the holes. So I haven't tested really, other than on paper and on my hairy arms. I haven't really tested how the knife performs. So let's see. In different grips, so this you can grip here, but I would imagine probably not so. Well, I guess it's okay for feather sticking, but a grip into the fingers I think would be more comfortable for this. So I'll do this for a little bit and then switch up. Can't seem to retain a curl. Now some curls. Okay, so what I was talking about, the finger grip is holding the knife here. Very secure 3-finger grip here, but instead of holding it in the palm, if I hold it here in the front, I have way more control, especially if I put my thumb up here. So when shooting the video, actually something cut off and I wasn't able to record the last bit, so I'm doing it now. Basically, I did quite a bit of feather sticking with the knife. I have not resharpened it or even stropped it, but it is still shaving, as you can see. It is shaving sharp, and obviously it will cut the paper. So that was my error. There we go. This is much thinner than your printing paper, so it performs just like M390 should perform. And as I've been trying to demonstrate, even though it is a tiny toothpick of a knife, it actually is a practical, usable blade, and I look forward to using it. I mean, same size as the Esee Izulla II, same size as the Enzo Necker 70 in terms of the blade, the cutting edge. So yeah, looking forward to carrying this. I will do a quick update once I receive the belt loops and the alti clips and how I end up changing the sheath. But for now, this is a very high recommendation from TwoSun. If you're looking for a fixed blade in a very, and I would probably say most compact size. I don't know another fixed blade that is that has these characteristics within the same size factor. There's plenty of smaller blades that are naked, meaning without scales and, you know, hollowed out handles, etc. But something like this, I don't know any other. Very fond of this thing, so I can wholeheartedly recommend that blade. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. I have more cool content coming. Cheers.